We start the broadcast with revelations by Bob Njagi and Oyoo. Two Kenyan activists who are held in Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni's so-called fridge for 38 days before their release last week. Njagi and Oyoo, who were tortured at Kasenyi military barracks, say they suspect that their abduction and detention was a result of fear by the Ugandan regime that they were on a mission to incite the genzs in Kampala. For 23 days, they were held at a camp with more than 150 other political prisoners, where they were questioned about their mission in Uganda before they were transferred to a safe house where they remained for 14 days. Gatete Njoroge kicks us off.
I'm in the cell and he asked me, Bob,
Bob Njagi breaks down during a media briefing. The encounter with journalists evokes painful memories of the 38 days he was held illegally by Uganda's military. What started as a business trip to Uganda and an engagement with NUP presidential candidate Bobi Wine would later become the darkest experience for two activists after they were abducted in Kampala.
I was tortured on the second day during interrogation. I was removed from the cell, blindfolded, taken to a room, chained into a chair like this on one hand, one officer at the back, another officer in the front. The one in the front would hit me with blows while I'm being asked, because they took our phones. And so they would go through the phones and ask us questions, who is so-and-so? Who is funding this movement? What have you come here to Uganda to do?
I was tied to something like this, and I was whipped severally, and they could ask me questions about some of those groups that we were in, trying to tell us I think they're expecting some answers of some sort.
For 23 days, they were held at Kasenyi military barracks. They say there were more than 150 other political prisoners held at the facility without trial and knowledge of their family members. 6 Nigerians are part of those in military detention.
They have been detained, some of them up to a year. That is what is calling the fridge, if you want to know what the fridge is. So there are some people who are actually in the freezer, not in the fridge. And as a human rights issue, these people have no cases. Most of them, they've been kept there for political reasons.
In Kasenyi, it's a military camp. Let me tell you, you wake up at 3:30, not because you want to wake up from your uncomfortable sleep sometimes, but it is because you hear bullets and bombs and people shouting there. They are training there. That is a place that psychologically is a very big torture.
They suspect their arrest was informed by the regime fears that they were in Uganda to incite the youth against the government ahead of the January 2026 general elections.
They were trying to create a narrative that we were going to Uganda to bring the Gen Z in Uganda. I think that is basically insulting the intelligence of Ugandans. I mean the intellect of Ugandans, surely. They can do the work. We don't have to go and teach them how to do these things.
When we traveled to Uganda and we were in the rally, according to the authorities, they thought this as an act of aggression. Whereas in our thinking, participating in a political rally is not a crime in Uganda.
The activists who describe Uganda as a country where security agencies operate with impunity want the international community to intervene and save the political prisoners.
We have not seen any protest letter from Kenya, and those are some of the things we are saying, are telling us there was a collusion in this. In fact, for us, probably the Ugandans, their fridge lasted for maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. After that, that fridge was not theirs.
The two say they will move to the East African Court of Justice to seek justice. Despite being subjected to psychological torture and inhumane treatment, Bob Njagi and Oyoo say the experience has not broken their spirit and resolve to champion for better governance in East Africa region. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.